Hi, guys. Thanks so much for being here, especially in this late afternoon session. I'm Evi Kechagia. I'm a cybersecurity technical solutions architect working for Cisco. Prior to this role, I was actually also coming from the networking engineer field. So today we are going to touch a little bit both worlds, like the networking world and the cybersecurity world, and we are going to examine together how AI can actually help us in make our networks a little bit more secure, more simple, and more efficient to manage. I usually like to start my presentations from the why. Like, why are we having this conversation? Why is now important in this era, the terms AI, machine learning, deep learning, all those maybe buzzer-beater words, but not really only buzzer-beater words, are really applied technologies and solutions that we need in order to have our networks maintained at a very good level. So what do we see today? We see a lot of devices connected in the networks, really much more than ever before. We see a lot of applications moving from on-premises world to the cloud world. We see a lot of IoT devices coming into our networks, and each of every of these devices is actually a new point, an entry point of a new attack that might occur in our network. It's an entry point. We also see a lot of bring your own devices in the workplaces, and of course, you have all experienced it, I'm sure. We see a lot of people working from home, working from the beach, from the cafeteria, from everywhere. So our perimeter is now a little bit broader, and we need to find very quick and effective ways in order to manage all this and actually to protect our assets, our people, our company, and our revenues. It is not only what I have described so far, it's much more. We see a lot of new devices coming in our networks, and those devices are actually unmanaged, which is doing a little bit our life even more complex, and a lot of new threats that are evolving daily. And I'm pretty sure most of you in your organizations, even if you're not a security engineer like I am, or if you're not a network engineer, you have seen some attacks coming through, and luckily you have been protected from them. So we have a lot of challenges to solve, as you can imagine. The first one is the increased complexity. As our networks are evolving, the complexity evolves together with it. Of course, we have a very big attack surface, a lot of new ways to being attacked in our networks, and of course, a lot of new tools to respond to these attacks. And this is what we are going to see a little bit later during our short presentation. But what is also true is that we have gaps in visibility. And we in Cisco believe that you cannot really protect what you cannot see. So we need to give our people the right tools in order to get the visibility on what is happening inside their networks and actually be able to respond to the attacks that are coming in our networks and be more efficient on this. So why is machine learning very important in the cybersecurity? First of all, is because of the ability to detect and to respond to threats in real time. If you are a SOC analyst, which I suspect most of you are not a SOC analyst, you are going to receive tons of alerts every day. You don't know where to start, what is the most important thing, so you really need to have the tools powered in order to be able to prioritize and manage the threats in a more effective way. Second aspect is to automate some routine tasks. If a script can do it for me, I don't need to spend like 10 hours working on all those things. And of course, we improve our accuracy. So sometimes, what we have seen in the past, and by correlating data that we have from other from other networks or from other people, from other different places inside the organization. We can automate things in order to improve our accuracy and our response to this. What I want to say, though, at this point, of course, I'm not going to tell you about the machine learning types I'm sure that you all are familiar with. What I want to tell you, though, is that machine learning, AI, deep learning, everything, is very much well-known for many years now. And we have integrated in our products machine learning types and techniques since many years before. So we were using supervised learning, of course, unsupervised and even reinforcement learning algorithms in our products, and we were delivering those capabilities to our customers. What has changed, though, and why this AI term has become even more popular nowadays is actually the Gen AI that we have discussed also during the past presentation from our valuable speakers. So I'm going to give you some practical examples of how we have implemented all those AI techniques in our products so that you can have a little bit better understanding of what we are capable to do today in the networking and the cybersecurity area. First of all, we want to get more things done faster. This is a fact. This is a need like from every organization, from every manager, from every CXO people, from anyone. So imagine that you're a network engineer and you're working for Coca-Cola, for example. So you have a lot of people in your organization, thousands of networking devices to actually manage daily, and you want to have the tools and capabilities to do it faster. So you don't really want to go the old way, plug the switch, start the configuration one by one. You need to have a unified, let's say, dashboard, which we have the capability to do that with one of our products, where you will be able to automate tasks to understand if the device type is X, then apply this profile. So you do like a plug-and-play approach. And of course, be a little bit productive and see if there is any anomalous behavior in the network with this device, so you can have some assistance and some alerts that are really in an early stage, and you can tackle these points before they become an issue to you. I'm sure that many of you in the past have seen challenges with the Wi-Fi networks, maybe. Now, the network engineers can even have a solution for this, to give you a more optimal experience on your Wi-Fi network. For example, you maybe have seen this in a stadium, in a conference like that. Even you maybe have seen this on your own offices. So maybe you have been in the presentation earlier about the carrier networks. And maybe you have heard already that if you tweak something in the Wi-Fi or in the radius, then something else will be also a little bit affected. That's true. So what we need is actually a way to optimize our networks, but more or less in Greece, not every company has a wireless engineer inside their IT team. So we give them the capabilities to actually have a prediction on what the Wi-Fi coverage looks like, what challenges we see, where the capacity is low, where is high, if we have any overlaps inside this, and give them actually an automated way to have a more optimal Wi-Fi network. And all this is happening with AI RRM, without even the network engineer touching the different channels and changing the code channel interference. We can also improve hybrid work. So you most probably use a collaboration tool like WebEx or like Microsoft Teams, and a lot of times you don't know why your experience is not so great during a call. So the network engineer now can have a way to understand what was happening inside your call when you joined it, from where you joined it, where you have been connected, if it was a provider's problem or if it was an application's problem. And trust me, in order to do all this in the past years, it would take you a lot of time. Okay, so let's say that we have helped a little bit the network engineers make their life easier with some tips and tricks that we can do. But also, as we said in the beginning, cybersecurity is also very important. So what we can do in order to understand what is coming into our network, what is connected to our network, if it should be connected or not, and actually see what are the best policies that we can apply so we secure that every device and application can connect to the correct user and application inside their networks and to nothing else. The NIST cybersecurity framework consists of 5 pillars: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. But in order to apply the NIST cybersecurity framework, I need to first know what is inside my network, make sure that those devices that are inside my network have the right level of accesses, and detect endpoint threats and vulnerabilities that are connected to it. So for every endpoint, for everything that is connected inside your network, we are able to give it a threat score. And the threat score is, of course, coming, okay, is it the laser? Yeah, with embedded machine learning algorithms that we have inside our products, which is getting telemetry from threat intel resources and can apply also the logic based on what is your baseline. And what I mean by your baseline, we even have a tool that we can deploy in your networks to understand what is the normal pattern. So for example, let's say a server A communicates to server B with this amount of flow and this amount of data and with this kind of protocols. If we see a change in this pattern, we are able to identify that this is the normal behavior and we don't see this anymore. This is not a normal behavior because we have seen a data exfiltration or doing a DNS request to another server or anything like that. So you can apply real machine learning inside your network to identify patterns, to identify what is happening. I'm going to give you also some other examples. Something that you are maybe familiar with about an advanced threat. This is a ransomware threat, how it is spread. So most of you are receiving emails or even SMSs, but let's go with the email paradigm, that this email is coming from a bad guy. And usually it has a URL inside that it's going to do a DNS query. It's going to redirect you to something malicious website, so you will download the software, and you are going to compromise your computer. And this actually compromised computer endpoint will also communicate to other endpoints inside your network, even your servers, and maybe lock down even the services of your business. Maybe it sounds very easy, but trust me, it's really very complex in order for a SOC analyst to understand what happened, how the attacker came in, where the threat is spread now, what is going to affect, how can I respond to this? So usually customers have different vendors for protecting different parts of this threat. So they have a vendor A for protecting the email, a vendor B for protecting the DNS, a vendor C for protecting the endpoints. And all these do not speak to each other. So what we need to do is to correlate all this data and actually automate our responses. This is where an XDR kind of solution comes in. So XDR is based heavily on AI, is heavily based on machine learning algorithms in order to get all the threat intelligence, correlate different points of your network in your organization and make all the flow of what happened inside your network. OK, now you will say, Evi, great. I think that all this will help my organization, my team, my customers, whatever, solve some of their business challenges. But is AI coming with any challenges itself? Well, I have to tell you that, of course, it does, as everything. So first of all, the code that we use for AI, maybe it has vulnerabilities itself. So we should actually be very careful with the code that we use on its own. Second, legal, licensing, and privacy issues. All of you, I'm sure, are a very creative person, and most of you are also a little bit overwhelmed in our day-to-day jobs. So sometimes we try to find ways to accelerate a little bit our day-to-day tasks and move forward. So what we have seen is that we copy-paste the code, we go to ChatGPT or whatever, we paste it and we say, hey, where is the issue in my code? So this is actually a data leakage going to another vendor. So we should be very careful on the legal and privacy issues when we use those techniques. And of course, we have maybe a lack of transparency, and maybe we also have lack of accountability, because we want our engineers to be accountable at the end of the day. We don't want to rely just on the algorithms. Of course, in Cisco, we have 6 core principles for responsible AI that we apply in all our products, in everything that we use, and those are transparency, privacy, fairness, security, accountability, and reliability. We have this publicly available, of course, and you can go through each and every principle to understand better what those principles are. And with that, because my time is up, as I can see, I would like you to have 4 main points from this presentation: that AI has the potential to be a revolutionized technique that we can use in order to enhance our networking and cybersecurity inside our organization. By leveraging it, we are going to be more productive, but there are also challenges come with it, and we should be aware of them. And of course, Cisco is on the journey with the customers along all this. Thank you very much. Of course, I'm open to any questions that you maybe have, and I will be around also later in case you would like to discuss anything.